Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a list that reaches across 5 of the most distinctive and storied names in watchmaking to bring you 5 references that each make a completely unique and completely compelling case for why they deserve a place on your wrist. From Tudor's most glamorous and daring interpretation of a beloved classic to one of the greatest pilot's chronographs ever produced, from Austrian elegance to the quiet, almost meditative perfection of Japanese haute horlogerie, today's countdown is a celebration of what happens when watchmaking ambition and design confidence collide at the very highest level. Let's get into it. Number 5. Tudor Black Bay. 58 Gold. The Tudor Black Bay. 58. Gold is the watch that asks a question the collecting world had not fully considered until the moment it appeared. What happens when you take one of the most beloved and credible vintage-inspired dive watches of the modern era and render it entirely in 18-karat yellow gold? The answer, it turns out, is something genuinely unexpected and genuinely extraordinary. Where gold sports watches from the most famous houses carry price tags that place them firmly beyond reach, the BB58 Gold arrives at a price that, while decidedly premium within the Tudor catalog, represents a level of accessibility for solid gold Swiss watchmaking that the industry had not previously offered at this standard of design and movement quality. The 39mm yellow gold case wears with a warmth and richness that photographs simply cannot adequately prepare you for. This is a color and a weight that must be experienced on the wrist to be properly understood. Number 4. Omega Speedmaster Racing. The Omega Speedmaster Racing is the Speedmaster for the person who loves the legend, but wants the legend delivered with a contemporary urgency and technical modernity that the professional moonwatch, for all its timeless authority, was never designed to express. Where the moonwatch looks backwards with reverence and pride, the Speedmaster Racing looks forward with energy and ambition, and the result is one of the most visually dynamic and mechanically accomplished chronographs in the Omega catalog. The 44.25mm stainless steel case houses the skeleton-dialed configuration that defines the Racing's visual identity, a bold, multi-layered dial architecture that reveals the chronograph mechanism operating beneath the surface, presenting gears, levers, and bridges as design elements rather than concealing them behind a solid dial face. The effect is immediate, kinetic, and deeply satisfying for anyone who believes that the movement inside a watch deserves to be part of the experience rather than an afterthought. The IWC Portofino Automatic is one of the great unsung dress watches of Swiss horology, a timepiece so thoroughly, quietly correct in every proportion and every detail that wearing it produces the particular satisfaction reserved for objects that have been thought through with complete and unhurried care. IWC Schaffhausen occupies a unique position in the Swiss watch landscape, a manufacturer rooted not in Geneva's horological establishment, but in the industrial precision engineering traditions of eastern Switzerland. And the Portofino reflects that heritage in the rigor and integrity of its construction, even as its exterior speaks only of Mediterranean ease and relaxed elegance. Named for the famous Italian coastal village whose effortless beauty has inspired artists and aristocrats in equal measure, the Portofino Automatic presents a 40mm stainless steel or rose gold case of almost architectural purity, slim, perfectly curved, and finished with alternating polished and satin surfaces that catch the light with a subtlety entirely suited to the watch's unhurried character. Number 2. Grand Seiko SBGA211 Snowflake. The Grand Seiko SBGA211 Snowflake is not simply a watch. It is one of the most celebrated and emotionally affecting dial achievements in the entire history of watchmaking. A reference so completely and so distinctively realized that it has transcended the category of horological object and entered the conversation about Japanese art and craft at the highest level. The dial is the reason. Inspired by the snow-covered forests of the Shinshu Highlands surrounding Grand Seiko's Shojiro Yamazaki studio, where the watch is produced by hand in a region famous for its deep, undisturbed winter snowfall. The snowflake dial is finished with a texture that replicates the irregular, light-scattering surface of freshly settled snow with an accuracy that stops people in their tracks the first time they encounter it in person. No two dials are identical. Each one is finished by hand, and each one catches light differently at every angle, producing a living, shifting visual experience that rewards years of daily wear with daily discovery. Number 1. Breitling Navitimer B01 The Breitling Navitimer B01 takes the undisputed top position on today's list. And in claiming that position, it represents not merely the finest expression of one of watchmaking's most storied references, but one of the most complete, most historically significant, and most technically accomplished pilot's chronographs ever produced by any manufacturer at any price. The Navitimer's story begins in 1952, when Breitling developed it in collaboration with the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association as a functional onboard instrument for aviation navigation. A watch capable of performing the airspeed, distance, and fuel consumption calculations that pilots required before the era of digital avionics. The iconic circular slide rule bezel that wraps around the dial is not decoration and never has been. It is a working analog computer, as functional today as the day it was designed. And wearing a Navitimer means carrying 70 years of aviation history on your wrist in a form that continues to earn its original purpose. The B01 designation marks the critical evolution, the replacement of previous ETA-based calibers with Breitling's own in-house caliber B01 chronograph movement, a column wheel and vertical clutch construction that delivers chronograph operation of exceptional smoothness and precision alongside a 70-hour power reserve and COSC chronometer certification.